At the moment, I actually recorded a vlog about to be careful about a lot of, and let's assume that some people on this planet actually really want to change their life for the better. And of course, 99.99% wants to, but is not willing to put in the work. So this 1% of the population who really wants to also probably runs in a lot of BS from a lot of people. And then actually, I talked about this in today's vlog very extensively. Also, a lot of things that you should consider when you make a decision, to invest your money in, let's say, quote unquote, in my opinion, dumbass stuff. So I analyzed one email from a very famous marketing guy, and this marketing guy, he used all kind of psychology tactics to get people on board. The fear also of losing out, and based upon a lie, but he of course knows the ways, the legal ways. So when people actually would pull him in front of court, into court, then he would be safe because he used wordings assuming, so nothing is fact checked. It's just labeled as some sort of high potential, hypothetical scenario. And in this case, and let me think about my words, it was about what if ChatGPT integrated with TikTok, and if you don't jump on board, blah blah blah. But like my question was simply, you know, and also, and because if you're watching me for the first time, I'm highly obsessed with humans, human behavior. I'm making sales since I was 11, and the thing is, and now I'm 47, and the thing is, I'm hyper focused on human behavior and also animals. When I lived in Holland, I had a lot of animals, small ones, not big ones, and I grew up with in between a lot of bigger animals. Not the biggest fan because they were always a little bit stinky, but okay. But anyways, today I talked about that people should be very careful what they invest in, because it seems that there is a huge market for temporarily plasters on the wound, right? Temporarily plasters, financial wounds, maybe mental wounds. You do this and this and this and blah blah blah. When it's about my content, everything is consistent, everything is spread out in 18 hours. Obviously, you don't see the full 18 hours that I'm going full throttle, because simply, there are a lot of people who don't want to be on camera, and that is for a ton of different reasons. But anyway, what I want to say, or what I try to make people maybe aware of, is simply, even when people reached and the millions per month, it doesn't mean that they're ethical. And of course, you can compare with the Escobar guy, but the thing is, it is not. That's not what I mean. The thing is, about this marketing guy, he does a couple of million every single month, but he still tries to lure in people based upon fabricated stuff, and then also be smart enough not to so you cannot get sued. And I think that is on purposely doing wrong. I don't know. I don't know. See, the thing is, the reason that I also show every day the disciplines, the also the fact that I'm not hanging around in. See, I could also sit in Malta. I could sit, because I lived for 5 years in Malta. Many times when I talk with my people over there, my business contacts, then I also say, I could make videos sitting in a pool, or in around the Blue Lagoon, blue waters, because I got contacts I'm working with, also with the ferry tickets. The thing is, I could make up a whole different kind of background and everything, but I think that has one thing maybe as a benefit. You will get people who like to see blue water and that kind of stuff, maybe drink a cocktail, but it's all temporarily stuff. And the putting in the daily disciplines, constantly keep your mind fresh by absorbing the right knowledge, and also when I talk about the red flag stuff, to keep your circle clean, those are all not fun things, but those are real part of the deal. I'm 47. I did a lot of dumb stuff, and I failed a lot. And the thing is, I don't see failure as a negative thing, because this morning I also talked about one specific project with one of the people, because I ran for 2 years also a bar in Holland. The thing is, total dumb idea, but I'm happy that I did it. Not only because of the reasons of running a bar and then entertain pretty much every night over 200 people, but this is another thing. At one point, I organized an event over there, and the police came to me and they said, "How did you do this?" Because I had the elite of elite, old school bouncers gathered all together at that event. But anyway, that's a little bit an insight how I see so-called failures. It end up totally shitty, but for multiple reasons, by the way. But and also very publicly. So, but you know what? Who gives a freaking rat's ass? I did it, done it, and of course I got tons more. But I'm not getting into this. The thing is, if you are watching this and you are considering to invest in a course or whatever, I always say the best stuff is for free, available on YouTube. True. And the thing is, what I'm doing with my content, first of all, there will be thousands of videos more. And not only this, because let me think about my words. The thing is, I want that people see that things are real. And the moment that you train and you have to put on your shoes, you are with yourself. No matter what your spouse or your parents would say, good boy, well done, or you going for it, good. But the moments that you are actually putting on the shoes, putting in the work, gasping for air, your muscles are burning, you are with your own thoughts, and the only person who can push through is you, nobody else. And I think most people don't like to talk like this, because then they maybe high likely miss a lot of views on YouTube, because people like to hear it's good to be depressed, it's good to feel heartbroken, it is, good to cry and swipe the whole day. But it is all nice. But if you want more from life, you have to pay the price. What is the price? Discipline, consistency, a resilient mind. And that resilient mind, if you ever think you reached the top of resilient mind, you didn't. Trust me, I'm 47 now and I'm busy with this since I was 11. Not only this, also before my 10th I already ended up in a newspaper. But it's another talk that we're not going to get into now. But the thing is, never ever think that you're enough, and be content with it. I said, I'm going to repeat this over and over. You're never good enough, because always there's somebody better. And if you continue to grow mentally, physically, maybe financially, there is never a roof. And I think when you put in every day the work, that's the part of fulfillment. If you don't put in the work on a daily basis and you listen to the people around you, take a day off, take it easy, little Timmy, sit on my lappy and cry a little bit about all the bad things that happened to you, I always say, Mamma Mia, that's why we got bench sitters, bench warmers. They need to keep the bench warm, cozy for us. But we're not sitting on the bench. We just keep on moving, relentless, until the day we die. And the thing is, of course, you don't have to do it obsessively the way I do it. So, but the thing is, like I always say, you never want to be like somebody else, but you always want to take multiple characteristics, percentages of those people that you, let's say, quote unquote, admire, or you would like to accomplish something similar. You like to take fragments of the characters and form your own, right? And I think in order to do this, let's say, more structured and without running into, let's say, disappointments, because if you really want to be like somebody else, you will never be, so you will be disappointed anyways. But focus on being judgmental when you think or consider to implement some sort of strategy, or even better, a work structure into your life. And when it's about the work structures, I'm going to give everything away for free. I'm doing everything from the phone, and I'm narrowed down those strategies that, and work structures, they can be executed by a 12-year-old. One of the courses, and they all come with things that I constantly grow. So there's one I'm going to explain it very quickly. You run into a business, you set up the whole e-commerce part, and at one point you're so involved in the sales, and at one point you get equity. That is a simple timeline, but requires communication on the most humane level possible. And of course, it requires selection of the people that you're going to work with, and that's why I always talk about, the the red flags. But then those red flags are never meant, to say, oh, how bad people are. No, if you get out of this 9 to 5, uh, let's say, structure, then you will run in real adversities, different levels of adversities, and not the regular, oh, my batteries of my remote control are finished, or the ones that you say, I drank a little bit too much and I cannot pay the rent. The adversities that come along, especially when you also have more and more free time and or increasing your income, it comes with a lot of temptations and also leechers. So you need to be aware of those things. And I had never known nobody who told me about this. So yeah, again, somebody else can benefit from my failures, and I failed on a very big scale also. Smaller scales, bigger scales, ridiculous big scales, also very publicly, newspapers and all that kind of stuff. Also, multiple arrests and all that kind of stuff. Many times also totally for no reason or a misunderstood reason. So simply because I didn't have limits. That's the main reason. I didn't have any boundaries, energy-wise, and any kind of when interaction with people, no boundaries, all in projects, all in, never said stop or no. So that's why I'm pretty experienced. I'm an experienced loser, you would say. But of course, I embrace each event that happened, let's say, around me, and also every time I had the chance to prove myself. And this is also what I always say, people, because I had a conversation maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, I don't remember, a very nice woman above 50, she said, yeah, but Alan, every time, it's constantly coming. I said, you know what, only the strong get constantly tested. The weak get only tested with very simple stuff. One breakup, they're gonna swirl for 10 years in the same breakup. It's done deal. The universe provides you with a good amount of challenges. And the more severe and the more frequent, you have to understand one thing. You can handle it because you're made for this. And if you prove the universe, and that's what I highly believe in, also the moment when I was homeless, oh shit, water from a car. The thing is, even when I was homeless and sitting on the bench outside and all the people went inside, lights turn off, that those are moments that you really confronted with reality. You have to prove it. You have to prove every single day. You got 18 hours, and for the people who sleep around 10 hours a day, just sleep a little bit faster and then just use that extra hour or maybe extra 2 hours to learn a new skill. Maybe accept reality a little bit more and face it. And not only face it, also embrace it, and perhaps even take advantage of it. Because not all negativity, or all things that are labeled as negativity, isn't really negative. The thing is just another challenge. Anyway, I want to do very quickly this live thing. I'm not gonna drink a coffee. I'm now in Sofia, Bulgaria. I go multiple times over here also to drink mineral water because I like to do that. I like to drink mineral water. Yeah. Don't ask me why. When I also think about what can I say about this, I do know why. See, first of all, I love Bulgaria. That's also one of the reasons that I'm over here. I love Bulgaria. I love everything pretty much about it. The thing is, and that's also one of the reasons I want to drink the water. So, the Bulgaria swirls around in all my molecules of my body. That sounds maybe like a hippie talk, but I really think like this. And not only this, when you have the mineral water, when you shake it, you see bubbles in it. I also like that. When you buy water from the supermarket, there's nothing in it. Unless you buy the fizzy water, I understand that part. But the thing is, the mineral water, there's all kind of stuff in it. nature. Maybe it's bad, I don't know. Maybe you know more about it than me, but you know what? That is my maybe weird perception of the reality when it's about the mineral water. Anyway, I am going. I think I'm actually now also coffee, and then I want to train, and I don't know. I cannot make a decision really where to train, and I think I'm going to a place where I don't usually go because when it's about the calisthenic spots, I explained this before. I see it a little bit as visiting family. I don't have those things, but I see it really. It's a place of comfort, but also discomfort. Very contradictional. Love it. Anyway, so now I'm thinking, and the weather is pretty good. A little bit cold fingers, but it is good. It's very good actually. No more snow. I'm not a big fan of snow, although I created some videos in the snow, but it doesn't mean that I like it. But it's also, again, when it's about discipline, right? Whether it's stormy or it is 40 plus degrees. I also did runs, in Malta with 40 degrees, around 40 degrees. You begging for a little piece of fucking shadow over there. So temperature actually doesn't really matter, but it doesn't mean that I always like it. Simply just doing it. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me think. I think I'm going to the calisthenics spot in Park, and probably I pronounce it wrong, Hippodroma. Which country am I from? I'm raised in Holland. I lived for 30 years in Holland. I was born in Indonesia, then I got adopted by people from Holland. And when I was 30, I pretty much lost everything, and then I went to Bulgaria to survive. I got on my feet, lived for 7 years in Bulgaria, then went for 5 years to Malta, and now I'm already back again in Bulgaria for 3 years. And by the way, that's maybe a fun fact. I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria, and I love Sofia, Bulgaria. I only went once out of the city. I don't go to seasides or whatever. I just love Sofia. For me, Sofia, when people talk about Sofia, Bulgaria, for me it's like Disney World. Not that I ever went to Disney World, but you get everything what you actually come up with is possible over here. And as I maybe said before, as I 17 years ago I came over here for the first time to survive, and I built a whole history over here. But now at 47, I'm from Punjab, Indian. From Punjab, Indian side. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, let me also tell you this. I'm a very bad pigeon, so I don't know Punjab side or whatever that is. It's probably around India. With all the respect, I'm saying this. If people ask me what is north or west or south, I wouldn't have a clue. I'm not. That is one thing in one skill that I don't have. I got a lot of skills I don't have. There are a lot of skills that I don't have. Yeah. Anyway, I'm happy that's over here at the moment. No snow, so it's actually great. It's actually warm. And now I'm actually going to a calisthenics spot. I think I want to start, or now at the moment I'm considering to go. First I thought to go to one park named Hippodroma. Probably I pronounced it wrong, but I'm going to the Rakovski Stadium. I think Rakovski Stadium, the time is good. Maybe there are some people now to talk with, and then let's continue the day. And my day starts always. It's split in two countries, India and Pakistan. Oh, okay. India and Pakistan. I know one guy. He actually, because I lived for more than 1 year in an Airbnb. One guy from Pakistan. He is arranging a lot of people from India also to Malta, but Malta stops a little bit because Malta government set a little bit of stop to this. But he also provides a lot of work for people over here in Bulgaria. And not only this, also in Spain I think he's active. But I'm not sure about Spain, but I'm 100% sure about Bulgaria because, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so this is pretty much it. I am considering also to get more mineral water before I leave this area, because that's also another thing. Yeah? When it's about the mineral water and coffees, I sometimes spend, you know, travel 30 minutes to get one coffee somewhere because I like coffee over there in combination with the people. You know, I always like to combine things. I don't like to go to places where people are grumpy. But the thing is, when you go to new places and people are grumpy, you know, I always figure out ways to make them smile a little bit. But you know, at one point when it's hopeless, then I'm not gonna sit at places where people are really grumpy. Anyway, that is my own weird thing. But in general, all the places that I go, the people are very nice. You always need to pinch through it a little bit, you know, especially also in supermarkets. Then I speak also with a lot of people. and when I go to new supermarkets, just to challenge myself a little bit. May God give you more strength for calisthenics today. Well, thank you. So you're in Bulgaria. Yeah, at the moment I'm in Bulgaria. Probably in a few months, maybe I will go to Malta, but not 100% sure. I'm already saying this. Last year I also said it, you know, let's go make a move and make nicer content, so, you know, so people can see that I'm travel. No, I don't think like this. The thing is, over here in Bulgaria, what I love about Bulgaria is for one simple reason: common sense. Yeah, common sense. I lived for 30 years in Holland, so I know what happens over there. I conducted a lot of businesses and projects in Holland, so I really went deep. Also ended up a couple of times in the newspapers and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, that means that I have a very, and let's say, a deeper insight of humanity over there. I lived for 5 years in Malta, still very integrated with business ventures over there. So, you know, I know a thing or two about the Western countries, and the thing about Bulgaria, I really love the common sense, you know. And this is not to step on anybody's toes, but when it's so, for example, very simple example, things like the LGBT thing that is forbidden over here on the schools, and that is not that I don't like it because I'm against those people, no, but I think it's some sort of common sense. That's my opinion. And there are a lot of things about Bulgaria that actually really keeps me here. I can mention another. Oh, you have a Telegram friend. Oh, okay. And one other thing in Bulgaria, what I believe in: you get what you give. You act like an idiot, they treat you like an idiot. You treat people with a higher level of respect, you get respect. You show a bigger level of humanity, you will get access to a lot of people. And that's what I love about Bulgaria. You know, that's really what I love. And there's another thing about Bulgaria. Maybe I forgot it already. No, we're not getting into this. Because I always need to think about, see, on Rumble I always can go really willy-nilly, but here on YouTube, and you have to be a little bit I anyways never like to provoke people, but I like to speak reality, and reality from my own experience, not in the way like, oh, I read this book, or I follow this guy, you know, this guy in the suit, and he has the words PhD in front of his name, and he cries on camera how sad the world is, and then teaches people to be strong. Well, I think that's pretty weird. But again, also in today's vlog I talk about it. I think when those bigger people who make millions per month, they need somehow, I don't know what, to talk like a sad puppy to reach more people. And there's a ton and tons and tons of examples of this, right? Actors, who say that alcohol and drugs are bad. Yes, it is not the best decision to make, but I used for decades boatloads of everything. The thing is, I saw it as more a part of my life, and it was a period, bad and good, but both ways you always learn from it. And if you live a very mediocre life with not so many ups and downs, yeah, of course, when there's something happens, then you're really quickly out of balance, and then you need to cry. I know people who are 40 plus. I know 40 people plus who think still about one ex 10 years ago. And those people are not matured because they lived pretty much a very safe life, 9 to 5 life, not too much headache, and not to talk bad about 9 to 5 people, but you're missing out. It's better, let's say it like this: the time that I was sitting, when I lost everything, I was homeless, I was sitting on a bench. I'm still grateful for that, because that is like up and down, not in the middle. Everything that happened, or you get arrested multiple times, been there, done that. But the thing is, other people can say, yeah, that's very bad, but the thing is, it gave color to my life. All the things that happened to me, and all the things I will speak about along the years, so people can see how real how really shitty things can go. But if you go through it, you get stronger, and I think that builds character. And you know what, no matter how bad situations were, sometimes I lost once 3 years of my life. The thing is, I could hate that person, or I could get him on board. The thing is, now he is one of my bookkeepers. So when people talk about forgiveness, I've and that's not the only thing. There was a little tiny example of reality. I always think, never swirl in the past. Learn, take the lessons, embrace them, be grateful for them. Also, when you would be in a shitty situation now, you say to yourself, at least you're breathing. There's a lot of things you do have, your toes, your arms, your fingers. If you do have those, be grateful for it. Your skin, everything. Because once the things that are taken for granted are not over there anymore, then all of a sudden you start missing them. And then it's too late. That's why I also always put in the work, the daily work to maintain this, my body. I'm 47. My energy level is, I can say this, way above the regular 25-year-old fart. I'm not bragging over here. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you an example. I'm 47. I'm dating girls half my age. Not only this, also sometimes I don't have problems with dating maybe 1 or 2 years older than me. But all the people that I actually get in contact with have different levels of, energy, which I'm really attracted to. But also, not only this, what I always really love about people that I don't know, that they show humanity. Humanity in a way, like you pay attention to the world around you. I speak. So, for example, once, one of my tricks to get in contact with people in the supermarket, and then I hope that people are working in the fridges, and then I make always this joke. Maybe it sounds a little bit cringy, but it always works. I always say, hey, can you close the door, because it's getting a little bit cold over here. And I'm saying this with a little bit, like a way that I don't mean it seriously. And then they look at me, and then, that's how I break the ice. In general, I always figure out things to break the ice, and then always greet the people everywhere. Not to try to lick other people their ass, but always keep in mind, every person has their own little tiny struggles going on, and it's always nice, and it is always nice to make another people a little bit smile, a person smile. Or when you come in on a regular base, when you walk in, that your energy is positive, that they say, hey, there's that guy, that's nice. He always says thank you when I, blah blah blah. Try to do those things. Those things are for free. And I think if 99.99% of the people on this planet would do it, then the world would be a very different place. But of course, that is living in La La Land. But some people who are watching my content, maybe they start considering, hey, let's build a little bit more energy, stamina, sleep a little bit less, watch television, throw it over the balcony. I don't watch television. Last year I watched television for 35 minutes. I made a post about this in one fitness group. Those people, they went totally freakishly nuts. I stepped on their sensitive toes. Says something. I'm not talking bad about gym people, but those people went totally bananas on me. It was like that I was, now yeah, touching one of their children. That's how nuts they went. Hmm. So that says something about somebody's character, right? And those people were also personal trainers. And this is then how I think, as a growth strategist, I think like this: if you have a place, a place of authority, because that's what I think. Personal trainers, they guide people, let's say, to the next level. But if your character is pretty shitty, at the moment that you don't get paid, and then when nobody's watching, and you place all kind of negative things like the comments, I'm really asking myself, where is the human part? Also, when you conduct business, but in the meantime you have all kind of dark thoughts going on, and then some people might say, yeah, you have to separate business and personal life. Maybe. I'm a big believer in putting the humanity part in business. Like also said in today's vlog, I am first of all looking at the human that is running the business. If the human is shitty and only money focused, I'm not even, no matter what the amount of money that people put on the table. Sometimes people reach out and they say, yeah, this and this, I will fly you in and blah blah blah, without actually showing me first any kind of humanity. I'm not even considering to go. I always respond, but I always highly suggest to those people become a little bit more humane, build a little bit rapport, and then maybe let's see also about the consistency, right? People who are reaching out, people who are willing to build, let's say, a so-called relationship. I talk with a lot of young people. In the beginning, they could texting me every 5 minutes, and then it goes down. See, I'm just watching and waiting when people show their real intention. Do they want to be quickly satisfied? Give them the strategies, and like normal people would do. I'm giving people work structures, customized work structures, not strategies. The strategies are just hyped up things that are maybe, or in general, loopholes. My work structures are simply evergreen, uncapped, and they can be executed by a 12-year-old. I'm gonna tell you something. Until I was 30, I never knew anything about the internet. When I lost everything, came to Bulgaria to survive, I had to figure it out, and I figured it out. And now I'm 47. I'm doing everything from the phone, and that is what I'm teaching people now. Simple. But that is also another reason that I film the way I film, is simply put in the daily work. The things that I'm doing on a daily basis, you can see a part of it, a very tiny fragment, on my YouTube channel and Instagram channel. I share a lot of also stories. You can see that you cannot fabricate what I'm doing. And the thing is, a lot of people who sell you very dumbass courses, $47, $7, claiming to make millions and millions of dollars with that specific strategy and or what they do on a regular basis, but you don't know the people, you don't know the person behind it. Really open your eyes. I'm asking people to open their eyes, because when you're young and you choose a direction, so for example, you would buy a course now, and then or somebody's asking, how much further is your gym? I'm actually walking back and forward. Because this is another thing. I always respect people, the privacy, so I don't walk into areas where people. So that's why I was actually going back and forward. Age, bro, age differences. I don't know what you mean, man. In God's home, everyone is equal. Yeah, that is all nice. Yeah, maybe. See, I'm not religious, and I'm also not judgmental. I'm always very curious about religions. I spent once 4 months with a Chinese priest, and I do like people who are going all the way in any kind of industry. I'm always interested in people who are going all the way. and who are very knowledgeable. Also, when it's about religion, when I run into priests or I have the opportunity to talk for a longer time with people who are religious but are not a priest, I'm always interested the whys and the hows and how deep is the level of that they go for something. I'm always interested in those things. So yeah, I'm actually laugh a little bit about how much further is your gym. I was walking back and forward over there. So yeah, good reminder. I think I'm going for a coffee first. Yeah, maybe I will do later on another one. But normally, but at the moment I don't want to walk around, with the phone like this. I do have the GoPro Hero 12. I can live stream with that one. But the thing is, when it's about live streaming with the GoPro, you can only go live in landscape mode, which means, you will have simply less views because you're not going to be dropped, let's say, between the YouTube shorts. Anyway, maybe totally irrelevant information. What I want to say, I'm gonna grab some more water over here from this place, and then I'm going to the training place, calisthenics spot. Anyway, ciao for now.